What's going on, everybody? Emmett Ferguson here from learnfromgreatbooks.com. And this is a fantastic workbook. Literally, in the course of this video, I want to help you plan your future. And I'm not just talking about, some of the things that you're going to do and achieve, but literally plan exactly how you're going to grow rich. And the ultimate answer is in this book, and it's within you. So, with that said, this is more than just a review of this book, the Think and Grow Rich Workbook. If you've heard of Think and Grow Rich already, which I'm sure you have, um, anybody who has ever looked up how to become successful, how to make more money, how to get rich, how to build wealth, how to build a successful company, how to grow sales, how to move up in a company. Anyone who's ever looked for any sort of motivation probably knows about Think and Grow Rich. But here's the one problem. By the way, there's a link in the description below where you can get this from Amazon. It's available on Amazon. And obviously, Think and Grow Rich is a highly recommended book. And here's why you got to get this workbook to go along with it. So with any book, any Napoleon Hill's workbook, it was incredibly eye-opening. Not only is it practical, not only does it give you the exact step-by-step method to grow rich and how to think and things that you could do, like exercises to do on a daily basis. Not only does he provide those lessons, but he shares so many great stories of how it was applied day after day after day by some of the most successful people in history. I mean, we're talking Andrew Carnegie, Henry Ford, John D. Rockefeller, Luther Burbank, the guy who created Firestone, the tires, I forget what his first name is, and so many other people. I mean, there's no other document in history like the book Think and Grow Rich that does such a great job of interpreting what helped to make those people successful. And with that said, with any book, right, for the most part, if you're reading Think and Grow Rich, at least you've taken that step to take action. But there's a whole bunch of other things that are involved with any book like that as well. There's actually taking the actions to do it. And once you've taken that first step of reading the book, it's important to put what he has taught, Napoleon Hill has taught, and put it into action. So here's the thing is when Napoleon Hill wrote that book, he was alive, right? He had the opportunity to be able to do these courses and these trainings, and there was even a take-home mailing to your home course where you could write down answers and interact with the trainings. And although the Napoleon Hill Foundation does that today, this is one great resource that you can take right now, that you can get right now. I'm pretty sure you could probably download this on Kindle right now in the link in the description below, and combine this with the book you're reading as a take-home guide to success. And it's more than just about doing the actions within the book Think and Grow Rich. Napoleon Hill lays down every single step by step of how to think and grow rich and how to make it happen for yourself. And he does it, and it's so actionable. But here's the thing is, because he's not around to be able to teach us courses, you're not able to get a formatted method of applying his principles. So ultimately what this workbook I think is about is literally creating the plan for your future, literally creating the plan to grow rich. Because it's one thing to go through the book and then take notes and then maybe jot down your answers. It's another thing to have a guided workbook by experts. It's written by Joel Fotinos and August Gold. So to have experts and what is it, Penguin Torture books, and they've published a lot of great books in the past. You probably recognize the Penguin brand, but ultimately, what you get out of this book isn't just doing the individual steps, chapter by chapter, writing down your purpose, your purpose, all of that. It's literally that by the time you're done with not only Think and Grow Rich the book, but by the time that you're done with the Think and Grow Rich Workbook. By the time you're done with this compendium, and I've done this book a few times, going through different chapters and everything. So I don't have anything written in here because I like to use it on a separate sheet of paper just in case I ever want to go through it again for another reason. Having this book handy is going to help you literally create your plan. If you read the book and you're a doer, you're a person that takes action, one of the hardest things to do is literally to sit down, stop your mind for a moment, and create your plan of how you're going to do it. Because you see, maybe if you're an action taker, I can imagine that you want the practical steps, you want the practical actions, and you'll do the practical applications. But if you're an action taker, maybe the boring process of going through this entire book, and I wouldn't even call it boring, but let's just say worst case scenario, you think it's boring, planning your future of riches, consider that boring. If you think that's boring, then maybe that's a sign of something. But with that, sitting down to work through a workbook that's literally going to help you come out at the end of it with a plan to grow rich, a plan to build a successful business, a plan to be a more successful person, a wealthier person, a more respected person in the community, a better philanthropist, whatever that is, a better leader. You've got this workbook right here to help you create that plan. This workbook right here, the Think and Grow Rich Workbook, and it's based right on the Think and Grow Rich book, where you can go through the book, read through it, take the actions, and then put it down into writing along with this book as it's guided. Because it's one thing to have your own ideas as you're going through a book and then get their ideas and then write it down on paper. It's another thing to have a guided resource that might ask you questions that you might not think about. For example, checking in, literally creating a list of your mastermind to check in with them. Although Napoleon Hill goes into depth about how to get the job that you want, this is an exact step-by-step process that you're literally planning out for yourself to make happen. Listing out, making sure that you challenge yourself to do not just one idea, but 2 ideas, or 3 ideas. Coming up with exercises to make sure all of that happens, to make sure that you secure your future, to make sure that you plan your future, to make sure that you're motivated, that you've got something down, a plan down on paper, so you go pursue it like none other. And despite the practicality of the Think and Grow Rich Workbook, I mean, this is as practical as it could get, because most people are not going to take, and I'm not saying that's you, dear viewer, and thank you for watching this video. I'm not saying that you, but the thing is most people are not going to take the action of reorganizing all of Napoleon's ideas and then putting it into a compelling, document that you can go through and that you've thought out and planned out. What's most likely that's going to happen is you'll probably read through the book and you'll probably read through it quickly. And when it has a moment where it says, take this action or do this, there's 60, 70% of people probably aren't going to do it. And then 20% are probably going to do it. 20 to 30% are probably going to do it in their heads. And then maybe 1 to 10% is actually going to do it, actually physically write it out. And then less than 1% is probably even going to organize it in a fashion that you can look back on it, like in this workbook, in an organized fashion, chapter by chapter, that breaks down step by step the entire plan for yourself. So, just think about that number. And, if you are the person to do something like in this workbook, then you probably don't need it. But if you are the type of person who would read through the book, who would take the action, who does want to apply an idea, any idea that has had millions of people follow it, then I totally recommend grabbing this book so that you come out with a solid, organized plan that is going to help you create your future for yourself. You are literally partnering with this workbook right here, the Think and Grow Rich workbook, to partner with it and create a future for yourself that's financially successful, that's successful career-wise, that adds value to society, that makes you a more confident, capable person. And the book does a great job of that. But again, back in the day, back when Napoleon Hill was alive, he was delivering courses and lectures and trainings on his classes. I mean, they were just starting to come out with ways to be able to. If you read the book, it's so interesting because you could see the technology back then. They were just coming up with ideas of how to more effectively transmit information, whether it be through video or radio or things like that. So those things were just coming into development. He was like saying, oh, at this time, people they're coming up with this, and sooner or later we're going to be able to do this through this technology. So back in the day, he actually was able to not only do the book, but he did lectures and he did courses, and the courses organized the ideas and challenged you to think of the concepts and apply them directly to your own life. Whereas, he's not around to handle those lectures. Now, there's a lot of, there's people that actually train on Napoleon Hill nowadays. They got certified by the Napoleon Hill Foundation, and I actually have a certification through them. But, I don't necessarily coach on this, but there are those coaches out there. They're great, they're phenomenal, they got great training. But at the end of the day, you've got this Think and Grow Rich workbook if you're just getting started. If you're on a budget, or even if you're not on a budget, but you need to realize that you need to create a plan. You don't have one. You're ready to take action. You know what you want to do. Get it down on paper. Start taking these steps to list out your actions, exactly how you're going to get there. And it goes beyond just the plan, right? It goes beyond just the action. This is also a step-by-step of how to get your mind in the right place, how to get your ideas right, how to build those relationships that are going to help you and your business succeed, how to build those relationships that are going to get you to where you want to go, and ultimately you probably help some other people to get to where they want to go too. But in order to do that, you can do it by the book alone, but this workbook will help you do that much quicker. Because when you're learning, it's one thing to just read and absorb the content and think about the ideas in your head, right? And just keep in mind that all of those thoughts and ideas, they exist only in your mind. There's not a single real, tangible, physical existence of what you do or what you're thinking about in the real world until you either get it down on paper or you take an action on it through your behavior or through some physical action of writing, planning, listing. And that's where it also comes handy too, because all that exists in your mind, it doesn't exist in anyone else's mind. I'm not saying that ideas and thoughts someone else might not have the same. I'm not saying no one else is ever going to have the same ideas or thoughts. I'm just saying that whatever you're thinking right now, whether you're evaluating this video, if you don't leave it in the comments below, it literally doesn't exist. I'll never know about it, and no one else probably will either. And maybe most people probably don't need to know about it. But at the end of the day, there's something so powerful about going through material like this, like the Think and Grow Rich workbook, to go through content like this, to have a workbook combined with a Think and Grow Rich book, and to be able to literally transform your ideas and your thoughts into something real, something physical in the real world. The moment that you write down your ideas, your thoughts, your dreams, your ambitions, your goals, your company name, it's suddenly transferred from what's in here, where nobody will ever know about it, which, if you want to keep everything secret, that's fine. That's cool. Whatever you want to do and lock it up. But you can also do that by getting it down on paper and locking it up in a box somewhere. So with that, so much powerful things can happen from the Think and Grow Rich workbook. Not only are you having basically as if Napoleon Hill was helping you plan your future yourself, but you're going to come out with a plan. You're going to come out with a step-by-step process. You're going to come out, if you do these exercises, feeling feeling more confident about what you're doing, and you're going to start creating the turning and transforming. And I think there's transmuting is one of the words used in by Napoleon Hill, is literally transmuting your ideas, your future, your thoughts onto paper and making it a reality. So that's ultimately what Think and Grow Rich is about. So with that, thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, comment. Let me know if you've ever gotten this workbook. Again, there's a link in the description below that allows you to purchase it from Amazon. It goes straight to your house. And if you decide whether you actually want to purchase the physical copy, you probably even get a sample, purchase the physical copy, get the sample on Kindle, start reading it tonight along with Think and Grow Rich, put it in action, and be further along than you were yesterday or prior to watching this video. So with that, thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, comment, share for sure. If you have any questions, definitely feel free to reach out, and have a wonderful day. Thank you for watching.